date is September 14th. Right now. This is devotional number 133, and today's date is September 14th, 2016. We have been looking at Jonah's prayer in Jonah 2, 1 through 9, and I'll go ahead and read the first two verses. Then Jonah prayed unto Jehovah his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto Jehovah, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. I was a bit intrigued when I realized that God employs two different and unrelated Hebrew words for belly in these first two verses of Jonah 2. The first one in verse 1 also appears in Jonah 1:17, where it is rendered in the belly. And please note how God links this word to the phrase 3 days and 3 nights. Now Jehovah had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. And this first word is Strong's number 4578. And we also see it repeated in Jonah 2:1. Then Jonah prayed unto Jehovah his God out of the fish's belly. This word is commonly rendered as bowels, and in a third of the references it points to giving birth. In fact, once it's translated in my womb. In Ruth 1:1, in which the widow Naomi, having lost her husband and 2 sons by death, asks her 2 Moabitish daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah, this poignant question. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters, why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? This word also symbolizes great emotional fervor or even turmoil in one's innermost being or heart, as we see in Psalm 40, verses 7 through 8, where it is rendered, my heart, in verse 8. And of course, this is speaking of the Lord Jesus Christ. Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. Although this verse on the surface is apparently positive, if we consider these same words, not my will, but thine be done, as they are uttered in the context of the Garden of Gethsemane, for example, the phrase takes on a very different meaning, as Hebrews 5:7 points out, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. The imagery of birth and the pain associated with birth by extension, or a similarly excruciating pain, is what is being expressed by this first Hebrew word belly, Strong's number 4578. Now we can go to the second word for belly, which is Strong's number 990, in the phrase out of the belly of hell. And it only surfaces once in the book of Jonah, here in fact in Jonah 2:2. And said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto Jehovah, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. This second word, out of the belly, is similar to the first one in that it's also related to giving birth, or the womb, or to literally one's stomach, one's body, also a person's emotions. However, it doesn't seem to quite express the degree of pain as the first word belly does, but rather states that the action or what is taking place, if you will. For example, if we go to Job 121, we read there, and this is Job speaking, and said, "Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Jehovah gave, and Jehovah hath taken away. Blessed be the name of Jehovah." Also in Ecclesiastes 11:5, we find this declaration, "As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all."